Just to give you guys a heads up, I will be tossing a pancake or two in this video. So Pancake Day, which is also known as Shrove Tuesday, is the traditional feast day before Ash Wednesday. Shrove Tuesday was the last opportunity to use up all the flour, eggs and sugar, basically all the good stuff before going on a Lenten fast in the lead up to Easter. So that's often why a lot of people give up things for Lent if they are religious or fancy a challenge. That's enough historical background, you can Google it if you want, but basically we're making pancakes and I'm really excited about it. Oh yeah!
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
For this first pancake recipe, I am going to be following one that I found on the internet. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes, but I don't think you can go too wrong with a pancake. Okay, so these are all the ingredients for a crepe. Organic eggs, plain flour, so I've gone for an organic white flour. Organic milk, I have whole milk. Organic sugar, organic butter, and some organic lemons. Alright guys, I'm going to place you there, hopefully that's cool. I've got the recipe on my laptop over here, so I might bounce between here and here, but don't worry, you won't miss a thing. Okay, first up, sieve the flour into a bowl. How much flour? 300 grams of plain flour. It'll squat down. Nothing like squatting whilst making pancakes. Let's see how long this lasts. Now, I don't actually own any scales, so for the time being I'm using this dry measure, which is highly inaccurate, but it gives me a ballpark figure. I know they say with baking you should be as precise as possible because it's almost like a science, and I totally agree, which would explain why a lot of my baking doesn't always go to plan. But hey, if you like the excitement of not knowing the outcome, then get a dry measure and guess your way through baking and life. Okay, so 600 grams of flour. Where's the flour one? Oh, there you are, okay. Okay, that's a lot actually. How many pancakes is this making? So I'm going to sieve the flour. Next up, a pinch of salt. Add 2 eggs. Doesn't feel like enough eggs, but anyway. Oh no, oh gosh, oh gosh. I've just realised I've done this wrong. I've done 600 grams of flour instead of 300 grams of flour. It was 600 mils of milk. That's where I've made the error. Let's back up here. So it's 300 grams. You know what, I'm just going to double the recipe. I'm going to double the recipe because that's just how I roll. I'd like to blame the dry measure, but for once it was my fault. Just this once. This is going to be a lot of pancake. So I've put 4 eggs in now and I'm going to give them a little whisk with my spoon. It's going to be whiskey business. Okay, next up I'm adding the butter and... oh yeah, I choose this one because it comes in like waxed paper. No plastic. Hooray! And the milk. I'm using organic whole milk in a glass bottle. Now the original recipe calls for 1 tablespoon, so I'm going to add 2 because I've effed up the recipe. I need to try and double everything. Oh man, if this works out at all, then brilliant. I'm going to melt it and then add it to the bowl. Do you want to come over? Do you want to come see this? I'm going to let that cool down so that it doesn't scramble the eggs when I put it in the bowl, because it's pancake day, not scrambled egg day. Now the recipe calls for 600 millilitres of milk, which is essentially a pint of milk, which is what I've got here. But because I need to double it and I don't have another pint of milk, I'm using a pint of water instead. Improv. I actually ended up giving the pancake mixture a quick whiz in the blender, as let's just say it was a little bit lumpy. My stirring skills clearly need improving. And then I let it rest for about 10 minutes. I then put a pan on a medium to high heat, coated it with butter, and then poured in the pancake mixture. Cooked on one side for a few minutes, and once it was loose and I could move it around the pan, I flipped it. Hooray! I'm so chuffed with that. I'm so excited. Look at it! It's a proper pancake. So I'm going to go for the classic sugar and lemon combination because it's so good together. But I actually grew up having a lot of savoury pancakes as well on Pancake Day. Normally filled with something like sautéed mushroom, maybe a bit of garlic I think, and some melted cheese inside, but it works really well with like spinach or any kind of savoury filling that you'd normally have. Just pop it in a pancake, and then I'd normally finish with like a sugar and lemon combination. You could also put maple syrup on there. I personally prefer maple syrup on the American style pancakes, and then when it comes to the crepe kind of flat, very thin style of pancakes, I like to put sugar and lemon on because it's so good. So I'm just going to squeeze this through my hands to catch the pips. You could use a lemon juice squeezer, which I also have, but I'm doing this lazy girl style and just squeezing through my hands. I'm just using whatever sugar I've got at home. This is organic brown demerara sugar, I think, but I think any sugar works. And do I even need to say it's best to eat them whilst they're hot? So it's a cook and eat situation, cook and eat. Ready?
Just yes.
Who knew that a recipe that went so wrong could taste so right? Okay, up next I'm making some egg-free American-style pancakes because A, I love American-style pancakes, and B, I was going through a phase of cutting out all egg because it was giving me spots and a painful tummy, but I'm okay with a little bit of egg now. But still, this was a pretty awesome recipe, I think. It's a bit haphazard, the measurements aren't exact, but I'm going to try and tell it to you as best I can. Let's do this. So this is the lineup for my American-style pancakes. Okay, so we've got flax seeds. I just use a sprinkle in this pancake recipe, and I'm not sure they're necessary, but I've got them lying around, so I just use them up. Plain flour. This again is an organic whole wheat, which needed using up. Organic coconut oil, gram flour, water, organic maple syrup for the topping, organic vanilla extract. I definitely want to make my own in the very near future, but in the meantime, this is the next best thing. Organic sugar and baking powder. I want to give a little shout out to gram flour because it was this little section here that made me think, ooh, I wonder if I could make American pancakes without eggs. It says that gram flour can be used as an egg substitute. So I added just over a cup of flour to the bowl, followed by 2 teaspoons of sugar, a good sprinkle of gram flour. So precise, right? But I think it's around 1/3 to 1/4 of a cup. A tablespoon of baking powder, a little sprinkle of flax seeds, 3 teaspoons of coconut oil, a lid full of vanilla extract, and then it was time to get mixing, adding the water in a bit at a time until I had a thick pancake mixture. I then put a pan on a medium heat. I coated it with butter, but coconut oil works just as well. Then I ladled in 2 blobs of pancake mix and cooked for a few minutes on each side, and kept going until I'd used up all the pancake mixture. Then I stacked them and smothered them with maple syrup. Oh yeah. Happy Pancake Day, guys! Enjoy!